That didn't look good at all. He should have waited until he was on a straight before he thought about slowing down.
Definitely, that's I'm sure the advice he'll get from the stewards. I can't see how he won't receive a penalty for that one. Costing a top player a position. Meanwhile, here's Šimek driving comfortably in the second position. Actually, catching Mike a bit. He has 8 laps left in this Grand Prix. Much fresher tyres. Mike last pitted before halfway. Anything's possible. If Mike makes a mistake, loses 2 seconds, Šimek is right in this Grand Prix for the win. Here is Mike.
Getting held up here by laps and lap traffic.
That's Bolbanek in the Sister Force India having a very unassuming race, down out of the points in 11th place.
You can also see that Sismak gained a 1 second on Mike Knight that lap, so Sismak definitely on form with his new tyres.
Yeah, definitely possible. He's got 7 laps. Let's see what the gap is next time Mike crosses the line. There was Strike, by the way, just coming out the pits. Not really sure why he pitted. Perhaps he was so far behind. The furthest guy in front, he thought, might as well pit, get new tyres. You know, anything can happen. They can make a mistake, and then I'll be in a position to capitalise. You know, there's that saying that if you want to pass somebody, then doing exactly the same thing as them isn't going to help. Here is Wackinger, meanwhile, in the 3rd position, driving to a solid podium after a pretty poor day, really, by his standards. 3-time winner of this race. Here is Šimek, going after him.
Once Šimek settled down, he's had a very solid race, but really, it's been hard to keep up with Mike.
Yeah, a 7.1 second gap, and less laps than seconds to go. So, he has to catch at a rate of more than a second per lap. Meanwhile, here's a battle position. Lons has caught up to the back of Doman, and he looks like he has fresher tyres and more speed down the main straight. Can Lons put on the pressure and get the move done for a top 5 position? Doman outside the top 5, last year's champion, last 4 years champion, would be absolutely incredible and show just how much this series has gone on in terms of competition. But he sent a little block. Actually, this is battle for 6th position.
So he's already out of the top 5.
Yeah. Yeah, Kryman, of course, passed Doman a few laps earlier, my mistake. Meanwhile, here's a battle for the last point, and ooh, that's Callis going very wide. Looked like a lag mistake there. Something of that sort, and he's lost 1 point, which he'll dearly want back for his Virgin team. Mike's weaving down the main straight. Perhaps nerves are starting to set in, and the gap is coming down 5.9 seconds now, and there it is. Arsene will receive a 10-second penalty added to his time, so that could put him way out of contention for points, although he's already in 11th place, so looks like it won't really affect him. In fact, he's not. He's in 10th place.
He's under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter because he's going to get a 10-second penalty anyway. So Callis gets past him.
Nice move there.
Meanwhile, Pingu out the pits. He pitted with 3 laps to go. I can't really explain that, but perhaps he just wanted to try and set a fastest lap. I don't know. Meanwhile, here's those two battling. Quite unnecessarily, really. But ooh, Callis making a small mistake, and ooh,
a lot of contact there.
Bit of a rough defence, perhaps. Watkins just sliding through the fast chicane. It's a really fun corner to watch the car racing through. I mean, Lance also getting right on the sand there, kicking up sand as he tries to chase Doman. Only 2 laps left, and Doman's making mistakes, and Lance is up the inside. Can he defend into the final corner? Yes, he can. Lance is up to 6th position. Great pass from Lance.
Great defending as well. He knew that Doman would come back at him, but he kept the door shut for the final corner.
Meanwhile, there's the Toro Rossos having a bit of fun. Mike lets Pingu unlap himself. Looks like there's a bit of Pingu and sort of faster than you. Can't see what Pingu will really do with that. I don't know why he pitted with only a few laps to go, as Mike now starts his final lap. And Šimek...
3-second lead.
Yeah, so he just
3-second lead in front of Šimek. So one mistake from Mike Knight and the race could be down into 2nd, you never know. See how Šimek's last lap goes.
Yeah, but look, he's just got to drive constantly And steadily through these last few corners, his tyres just hit the 0% barrier, but he's done it. Mike Nike wins the GP Australii. He's incredibly happy with that, surely, as he should be. And Shy Guy just comes home in front of Kryman. Kryman can't do anything there, and Lons comes out to home in 6th position for the HRT team. A great result considering his start. And the last point will go to the Marussia. Apologies if we call them Virgin during the race, it's hard to adapt to a new name. And Pingu comes through in 8th in the Toro Rosso. Average lap time of 33.3. It's quite slow race pace really, but consider that you have to put full fuel in the car right from the start in a race like that. It's a lot slower paced than perhaps a TomoScience.com F1 League race, but of course it presents some fascinating strategies.
I think he was cruising towards the end.
Yeah, definitely. Just protecting his lead, you know. And from Shimek, who finishes an excellent 2nd position. So, let's move on to the podium celebrations. Great scenes on the podium then for Mike Nike, and now we move on to the race results. Mike wins the race with a total time of 26 minutes 42 seconds, and Shimek comes close on a 2-stop strategy, doing one more stop than Mike. At the end there he was much faster than him, catching and he finishes just 3 seconds behind. Wockinger completes the podium in his McLaren, a good result for him, just 7 seconds off the lead, and Shy Guy, after winning the test race, finishes out a good 4th. Kryman finishes 5th place, also for the Red Bull team. Getting 2 of their cars in the top 5 is a good start to their Constructors' Championship assault.
Next up in 6th place we have Lanz in the HRT, who manages to pick up a respectable 8 points after having many battles with Pingu. In 7th is the 4-time champion Doman, who had a relatively poor race and he will be desperate to improve. 8th place is Pingu in the Toro Rosso, who after a couple of mistakes did fall back behind Lanz. In 9th place is Strike in the Ferrari, the only Ferrari to get into the top 10, and he did manage to improve on his qualifying performance. And rounding up the top 10 is Callis with a great point for the Marussia team.
Okay, from 11th position to 15th position, these people actually scored 0 points. So in 11th, we've got Bulbinek in the Force India. In 12th position is Arson, who actually received a 10-second penalty from the stewards during that race. He lost 2 positions, and that actually cost him a point in the championship. In 13th is Flam. In 14th is Klikoy. And in 15th, who actually didn't finish the race, is the Ferrari of Sebol.
So, the Season 9 stand-ins now. The F1 Speed League uses the same point system as real-life F1 does. So that means Mike Knight gets 25 points for the win, Shimek 18 points for 2nd, and Wockinger 15. Shy Guy 3 points behind in 4th. Kryman gets 10 points for his 5th place effort. Lons gets 8 points for the HRT team, that's a solid result from him. Doman gets 6 points, Pingu 4 points, Strike gets 2 points for Ferrari, not the start to the season they had hoped for, and Callis gets 1 point for Marussia. So now moving on to the Constructors' Championship. Toro Rosso, with Mike's win and Pingu's 8th place, pick up 29 points to take a 1-point lead over the Red Bull team, of course their parent team, who get 2 solid top 5 finishes from Schumacher and Kreiman to bring them 28 points.
The McLaren Mercedes team is next up in 3rd place, picking up only 21 points, which will be disappointing for them after dominating in previous seasons, picking up 4 wins between Wackinger and Doman. In 4th place is the Force India team, with all 12 points being picked up with Shiga, who just missed out on a podium finish. In 5th place is the HRT team, with Lance, the lone driver, picking up all 8 points.
Rounding up the bottom of the table then, we've got in 6th place is the Ferrari team, who picked up 2 points. That was Strike picking up both of those points. And pulling up the very bottom of the field is the Marussia Racing team with 1 point.
Thank you all very much for watching the GP Australii. It's been a fantastic race to start the 9th season of the F1 Speed League, and we're looking forward to many more great races right here on Siders TV. And that includes next week at the GP Bahrain from the Bahrain circuit. It's going to be a great race. We're going to see some interesting pit strategy once again, but this time it's because the tyre wear is so high and the pit lane is so long. You might see just one stop from everybody early in the race and then go into the end on the old tyres, so it could be a really, really interesting race from a strategic point of view. But for now, let's focus on the great race we had in Australia. How was it for you guys?
Well, I personally found that a great race, and it was really enjoyable to watch. I'm sure we've got many more races like that to come for the rest of the season. And thank you for having us on the commentary team.
Yes, we had a good race to begin the season. We watched Mike Knight drive a very solid race with little mistakes. He's taken home a great win there, won the 25 points. We also saw some very close racing between all the drivers, and going to be hoping for some more great battles at the next track.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week. It's goodbye from me, James Tucker.
And it's goodbye from me, Sam Jones.
And it's goodbye from me, Jonathan Holmes.
Good night.